Hey guys, it is Sunday, April 12th, 2020. This is my third time doing this video because every time I do it, I say some things that might be taken out of context. So let's try it again. I didn't do a live stream last night because honestly, I don't want to cover the craziness that's going on anymore. So many people are doing that. There's so many different things going on with it that I just don't want to cover it. And it makes me angry. It makes me sad. And I know I'm not alone. So I just don't want that negativity. So what I want to discuss today, because the day that today is the R word, right? So I'm not a super R person. I have my beliefs, and I have my beliefs alone, essentially. I mean, I do share ideas and stuff with my mother and things like that, but beyond that, it's pretty much me. So, but there are millions of people in the world who are very much into their R. And there are so many different ones that it can get a bit confusing sometimes. But let's strip it all away and let's think about this concept. Regardless of what path people choose, as far as their R is concerned, and what exactly it is that they believe in, it all stems from kind of an umbrella concept. That umbrella concept being that there is power that is in control of our destiny, and depending on what happens, we have an outcome from that, right? And that seems to be a lot of what happens in almost every single one of these R's throughout the world. Yet there's still battles over it. There have been wars fought. There have been civil unrest throughout the world of people fighting over their beliefs in essentially the same concept. Because, and here's my opinion as to why the entire thing came about in the first place. If you can consciously sit there and say, oh crap, I'm in control of everything that I do, that's a scary thought, right? But if you can sit back and go, well, no, it's part of a plan, and all of this is kind of steered by me, essentially, by the decisions that I make, then it's not so bad, right? I only have to take minuscule amounts of responsibility for things, and if I do something super terrible, then, yeah, I might be punished for it, but I'm human, so I should essentially be forgiven. Let's think about that concept for a second. Especially today, because, if anybody knows anything about the religious holiday, I said the word, I'm going to get shot down now. If anybody thinks about the R holiday that is today, and the concept that goes behind it, I did this terrible thing, but I can be forgiven for it. That entire thing boggles my mind. We are a species that has evolved to be able to make conscious decisions for our actions, and have consequences for our actions. But yet, if you follow this R, or many other R's that are very similar, you can still be forgiven for your actions. So all of these individuals who consciously are making terrible decisions and doing terrible things can essentially still be okay. I think that if you consciously do a bad thing, then you should have to, in some way, shape, or form, have to pay for that. And I'm not talking about a fine or criminal, whatever. I'm talking about on a subconscious level, on a spiritual level, because we should be spreading love and joy and happiness instead of greed and hatred. And essentially, that's all our society as a whole throughout the entire world. Even in the poorest of poor countries, there are people at the top who feed off of other people's suffering. And that's a conscious decision. They're consciously making that decision to do these terrible things and strike fear and anger and sadness and whatever else amongst individuals in the population. And yet, because they believe in this concept that it's all part of the plan, and yeah, they did a bad thing and they know they did a bad thing, if they say some words or do some stuff, all will be forgiven. Maybe not all, but a majority of it will be forgiven, right? So that's kind of my thought process on why the entire thing was brought about in the first place. Human beings don't want to, a majority of human beings do not want to be held responsible for their actions, essentially. So what a perfect scapegoat to say, hey, I did this terrible thing, but, I did something really good too, so it should balance each other out and I should be just fine. Man, I don't know about all that. I just don't know. And I hate talking about this because I know there's going to be people that are going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. That's fine. There are some super religious people, and more power to you. And then you have the people that are like, how can all of this pain and suffering be happening if there's somebody that's supposed to be looking out for us? Well, the pain and suffering is caused by the human race in the first place. Again, with the whole conscious decision to cause the pain and suffering, right? You should be learning from your mistakes, not repeating them. And you should have the ability to consciously think, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Or before you even actually do it, say, maybe I probably shouldn't do this. And from where I'm sitting, it's an illusion to the idea that there are some things that you can do and still be forgiven for. I think you should have to work through whatever conscious decision you make on a physical level, an emotional level, and a spiritual level, individually. Now, I'm not saying that organized R is a terrible idea. because I understand that we're social beings and we need to gather and share concepts and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, looking at the way that it operates gets my brain kind of going in all sorts of different directions. So, because of the circumstances that we are in, and this kind of a day that it is, and all that kind of stuff, we should be just thinking about spreading love and joy and happiness instead of spreading hate and anger and resentment to other people because they don't follow the same belief system that we follow. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say about it, and kind of get you thinking about where I believe the entire concept of it comes from, where it stemmed from, what's the idea behind it. So, as always, guys, always remember everything does happen for a reason. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, everything's going to be fine. You're in control of making that good day or bad day better or worse. So, do with it what you will. And that's all I've got for you guys, and I will talk to you another time. Bye.